Out and about, living with cancer, week 3. Very little to report this week. I've only had one phone call from the care nurse who has been assigned to me as my contact at the hospital to inform me that the scan results have been returned and the blood results have been returned. There's some cancer on the colon, but that apparently was to be expected. The only problem seems to be the treatment they want to give me, if my heart is not strong enough, could kill me. So it would seem I'm now waiting to have a test carried out on my heart to make sure I'm strong enough for the rest of the treatment. That's all there is. So, as you can see from the shots, I have been out and about this week, close to home, just experimenting with the camera, learning how to use it, learning what I can do and what I can't do. So please enjoy the shots that follow, and I'll be back next week, hopefully with a bit more information of what's going on. Well, let's see what's happening on these shots. And we're now going down to Be by the Sea. This is Clacton-on-Sea, looking out towards the wind farm, which is just off the coast here. There's quite a large farm sitting out there, and they generate a lot of electricity for us, which of course is all classed as green energy. It's been there for a few years now. I've been in Clacton 5 years, and this was already there when I arrived. We now move on and go down onto the beach itself. This beach was regenerated in 2015. I think that the tide had started to undercut the seawall, so they brought in 33,000 cubic metres of sand, thousands of tons of rock from Norway, and there was gangs working here on the beach for probably about a year to rebuild it and install the groins to keep the sand in place. As you can see from the rocks, this is nearly high tide. It varies from day to day, but yeah, it's not a bad day. A little bit of wind blowing, a little bit chilly, but quite nice generally. Here's one little fellow who didn't seem to mind the cold because it was about 2 degrees centigrade. He's sitting there quite happily on the water, pecking away whatever he's pecking at. And it's me practicing with the zoom lens on the camera to see if I could get a shot like this. I'm now moving on further into Holland-on-Sea. Well, this is looking towards Holland-on-Sea, actually, not actually in Holland-on-Sea. Holland starts round about where this metal groin sticks out onto the sea. Stop people out walking, as you can see. Although it's a cold day, it's a pleasant day, and lots of people are taking advantage of the sunshine. It's a pleasant place to be, even in the winter months. I'm quite happy living here at Clacton-on-Sea. The next scene is later in the day, probably doing what you're always told you shouldn't do, in looking straight into the sun. But it was such a beautiful evening and such a great scene. I've also mounted the camera onto a tripod here to see how it's like up panning, and as you can probably see on the tripod, it's much easier to keep the line, although I seem to still be a little bit jerky. Something I need to practice a bit more of. And I'm sure anyone who's new to using a video camera, as I am, it's all good learning. But that's it. We're coming to an end now of today's report. Hopefully some treatment will start soon, or at least the check on my heart to see if I'm strong enough for treatment. And I look forward to being with you and giving you a report next week. Have a great week. Enjoy the things. Please click on the subscribe to keep up to date and hit the like button. Bye now.